Good morning, children. Today we will study about the transport of gases. As you all know, blood is the medium for the transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Both oxygen is carried to different tissues and carbon dioxide from the tissues is brought back to the lungs. So today we are going to study how this process occurs. Now, what are the objective? How oxygen is transported in the blood. Second, how carbon dioxide is transported in the blood. Then the third, oxygen and carbon dioxide dissociation curve and release of carbon dioxide in the alveoli. So these are the points which we are going to study. Now, the transport of these gases, how does this occur? Blood is the main medium by which both the oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported to the tissues or from the tissues to the lungs. Now these gases are carried in several different forms. Either they are dissolved in plasma. What is plasma, children? The liquid part of the blood is known as plasma. Second method is they may combine with hemoglobin, like hemoglobin plus oxygen, oxyhemoglobin, carbon dioxide plus hemoglobin, aminohemoglobin. So in the third is it is converted into a different molecule. So these are the three forms in which these gases are transported, either through plasma or through hemoglobin or through formation of a different molecule. Now first let us study about oxygen transport. Now maximum oxygen is transported through hemoglobin, 97%, and by plasma only 3% is transported. Now main thing of oxygen is it depends upon the partial pressure of oxygen. If the partial pressure of oxygen, which we have studied in the last topic, will be high, more oxygen will combine with hemoglobin. So oxygen binding occurs due to high partial pressure of oxygen in the lungs. Now oxygen binds with the iron ions or ferrous ions of hemoglobin in a reversible manner to form oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin is made of two parts. The iron part and globin part is a protein. So oxygen binds with the iron part of hemoglobin. In a reversible manner means oxygen plus hemoglobin changes into oxyhemoglobin, and oxyhemoglobin again may convert into oxygen and hemoglobin when it is delivered in the tissue. Hemoglobin molecules can transport up to 4 oxygen molecules. So each hemoglobin molecule can carry 4 oxygen molecules. So main points of this oxygen transport is it depends upon the partial pressure of oxygen in the lungs. Then oxygen binds to the iron part of hemoglobin and forms oxyhemoglobin, and oxyhemoglobin can again change into oxygen plus hemoglobin, and each hemoglobin molecule can transport up to 4 oxygen molecules. Now see formation of oxyhemoglobin. Oxygen plus hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin. In the lungs, partial pressure of oxygen is high. And oxygen binds to hemoglobin, it forms oxyhemoglobin, and reverse occurs in the tissue. In the tissues, the partial pressure of oxygen is less. So the reaction reverses. Reverses means oxyhemoglobin changes into oxygen plus hemoglobin. Now, what are the other factors? Main factor is partial pressure of oxygen. The other factors which help in hemoglobin saturation means they are blood acidity or hydrogen ion concentration. second is carbon dioxide concentration, third is blood temperature. Main is partial pressure of oxygen, but the other factors are hydrogen ion concentration, carbon dioxide concentration and blood temperature. Let us see about the blood pH or hydrogen ion concentration. Lowering of blood pH makes blood more acidic. It is caused by the presence of hydrogen ions from lactic acid or carbonic acid. This reduces affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. More oxygen is delivered to the acidic sites which are working more harder. So, where more hydrogen ion concentration will be there, the dissociation of oxyhemoglobin to oxygen and hemoglobin will occur, means oxygen will be transported to the tissue. It depends upon lowering of blood pH, means making the blood more acidic. More acidic the blood, more oxygen will be released from oxyhemoglobin. So, blood pH makes a difference. Factors. Then second is your carbon dioxide concentration. Carbon dioxide, if you know children, if carbon dioxide is more, partial pressure and concentration are almost same. So, if concentration of carbon dioxide is more, and this is mostly in the tissues, what will happen? Again, less the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen, means oxyhemoglobin will dissociate into oxygen and hemoglobin, and oxygen will be delivered to the tissues. So, higher CO2 concentration also helps in dissociation of oxyhemoglobin into oxygen and hemoglobin. So, the harder the tissues are working, more oxygen is released. When we exercise, when we run, we work more harder, more oxygen is released to the tissues because more CO2 is produced. More CO2 means more oxygen will be released by the hemoglobin to the tissues. Third is your blood temperature. Increased blood temperature reduces hemoglobin affinity for oxygen. Again, if the temperature is more, again oxyhemoglobin will dissociate into oxygen plus hemoglobin. And say all these things are occurring in the tissues. The body temperature is normally 37 degrees Celsius, and in tissue the temperature rises to 40 degrees Celsius due to metabolic activity. If you are working harder, the temperature in the tissues will increase. So, more temperature, again dissociation of oxyhemoglobin will take place. Hence, more oxygen is delivered to warmer tissue. So, the temperature should be high, hydrogen ion concentration should be high, and CO2 concentration should be high in the tissues, and oxygen concentration should be less. So, at that time the oxygen is delivered to the tissues by oxyhemoglobin. Again, temperature is high, CO2 is high, and hydrogen ion concentration is high, but oxygen is less. So, partial pressure of oxygen is less, other things are more. Partial pressure of CO2 is more, blood temperature is more, and hydrogen ion concentration is high. Then the oxygen is delivered into the tissues. So, this is oxygen dissociation curve. It depends upon the temperature. Again, same thing, partial pressure of carbon dioxide and your pH. So, if in the same partial pressure, if hydrogen ion concentration will become more, what will happen? Less saturation will occur, so dissociation will occur early. And if the same partial pressure, pH is less or temperature is less, what will happen? More saturation will occur. So, these are the factors which we are going to study again in detail. Factors affecting dissociation curve. The oxygen dissociation curve is shifted either right or left by various factors. First is shift to right indicates Dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin. When does it occur? It occurs due to, revise it, partial pressure of oxygen is less, partial pressure of CO2 is more. See, other things are all more. Hydrogen ion concentration is more, temperature is more. So, dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin will take place and mostly occurs in the tissue part. And if it shifts to the right, then shift to left, then what will happen? Hydrogen ions just opposite of that. Hydrogen ion concentration will decrease, temperature will decrease, CO2 will decrease, oxygen will increase. Or both the points are just opposite to each other, and mostly it will occur in your alveoli. Now, key point: increased temperature and hydrogen ion concentration in exercising muscles affect the oxygen dissociation curve, allowing more oxygen to be uploaded to supply the active muscles. So, if the temperature is high, hydrogen ion concentration is high, more oxygen will be supplied to those muscles. Now, how does this work? Oxygen transport. Now, we'll study about carbon dioxide transport. How carbon dioxide is brought back from the tissues to the lungs. So, it occurs by three methods. First is dissolved in plasma. So, only 5 to 7% dissolves in plasma. Second method is it binds to hemoglobin in the RBCs. So, 23% binds to hemoglobin, and 70% is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. So, let's study again in detail carbon dioxide transport. 5 to 7% of CO2 is carried in the dissolved form in the plasma, and the remaining CO2 enters the erythrocytes. Erythrocytes means the red blood cells. Now, what happens in the RBCs? 23% combine with hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin. See, carbon dioxide molecule reversibly attaches to an amine radical of the globin part of hemoglobin. It is attaching to the protein part, it is not attaching to the iron part. So, carbon dioxide plus hemoglobin changes into carbaminohemoglobin. It is so named because CO2 binds with the globin part of hemoglobin rather than the iron group as oxygen does. Oxygen combines with the iron part of hemoglobin, but CO2 combines with the globin part of the protein part. Now, third method is carbonic acid formation. Erythrocytes have a very high concentration of an enzyme that is known as carbonic anhydrase. And what does this do? This combines CO2 in water to form carbonic acid. So, carbonic acid is formed, but what happens next? See, formation of bicarbonate ions. Carbonic acid is unstable and quickly breaks down to release a hydrogen ion and bicarbonate. That's why 70% of CO2 is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. So, CO2 is transported by plasma 5 to 7%, 23% by hemoglobin by formation of carbaminohemoglobin, and 70% in the form of bicarbonate ions. First, CO2 plus water combines to form carbonic acid, but carbonic acid quickly breaks down into bicarbonate ions and hydrogen ion. Now, what happens in the alveoli? At the alveolar surface, what is there? Partial pressure of CO2 is low, partial pressure of oxygen is high. So, oxygen binds to hemoglobin. Now, formation of hemoglobin provides hydrogen ions. Now, these hydrogen ions combine with bicarbonate ions to form carbonic acid, and that splits into CO2 and water. So see, hydrogen ions plus bicarbonate ions change into carbonic acid. Carbonic acid again changes into water and CO2. So the reaction is again catalyzed by which enzyme? Carbonic anhydrase. Now CO2 is reformed and it enters the lungs and can be exhaled. Release of CO2 in the alveoli. Since oxyhemoglobin cannot carry as much carbon dioxide, carbaminohemoglobin also dissociates and releases carbon dioxide. Because partial pressure of CO2 of blood becomes higher than that of the alveolar air, carbon dioxide will diffuse into the alveoli from the blood. So majority of CO2 produced by the active muscles is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. So carbon dioxide is transported by plasma, then by combining with hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin, and the third method is by bicarbonate ions. But for formation of bicarbonate ions, what happened? Carbon dioxide combines with water to form carbonic acid, but carbonic acid soon changes into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions, and this is transported into the alveoli. In alveoli, again bicarbonate ions combine with hydrogen ions to form carbonic acid, which again dissociates into carbon dioxide and water, and CO2 is more in the blood capillaries and less in the alveoli, so it diffuses into the alveoli and is exhaled. I hope you have understood. Thank you.